में पहली चाहिए। You're just getting the harmonium, huh? So till he gets the harmonium, so Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So I would like to welcome everybody to this Sunday program here in Kannamangala Bhakti Center. So every Sunday we have this program from 11 o'clock till almost 2 o'clock, which we finish with a nice prasadam. And we always encourage and welcome devotees to come at least once a week to any program and charge your batteries. Like, okay. So, इसको ना इसको क्या करें इसको, क्योंकि पूरा कनेक्शन निकल जाएगा तो फिर मुश्किल हो सकता है। कोई बात नहीं जी, हाँ नहीं हारमोनियम चाहिए तभी तो मंगा रहे हैं। ठीक है ठीक है, हाँ हारमोनियम पर रख दीजिए। ये रहना तो अच्छा इसको Janavallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। ढक्कन, इसका ढक्कन पीछे मत करो, बराबर। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जयपतकस्वामी निति नामिने नमाचार्य पदाय निताय कृपाप्रदायिने गौरकथाधाम नगरग्रामतारिणे। नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयेते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं। हरि ओं तत्सत्। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। Hare Krishna. So I would like to welcome you once again to this very important subject on the super soul. This is a very important subject because it's our devotional service is quite dependent on the knowledge of this topic. And it's not a simple topic also in the sense that beyond the purview or the literature available in the Gaudiya Vaishnava literature, there's not much knowledge on this subject. And fortunately for us, Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita gives very beautiful and very clear and very scientific explanation of this subject. So my endeavor today would be to put this topic, collecting information mainly from Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and Ishopanishad also, to a very technical, very easily assimilable knowledge on the super soul. Okay, and the super soul in very normal terms is known as, in Hindi, what's known as? Paramatma. So actually we are talking today on the Paramatma. Atma, Paramatma. People are confused. And unless we get it very systematically from our scriptures, this confusion remains. But at the same time is very important also. Okay, so I think the previous class was on the various Vishnu avatars, So this subject is actually continuing on that subject. And the super soul is also the same as which Vishnu of his super soul? We have three Vishnus expansion, no? What is it? The first expansion is the Mahavishnu or the Karanodakshaya Vishnu, who's lying on the causal ocean, and from him various pores, from his pores various universes and universes are going out, just like he is sleeping, and the various universes are coming out of the pores of his body. As he breathes out, the various universes are going out, coming out of his body. And he breathes in, all the universes again get back to his body. So that is who? Mahavishnu, also known as Karnadaksha Vishnu. Then comes the next Vishnu expansion. What is that? Garvodaksha Vishnu. Where is Garvodaksha Vishnu? Universe, correct. So like so many universes came out of the body of the Karnadaksha Vishnu or the Mahavishnu. So Krishna expands himself into Garvodaksha Vishnu and he's lying in the Garbhodaka ocean in that every universe. Millions of universes. So many universes. And in every universe, the Krishna in the form of Garvodaksha Vishnu, he is lying down and from his navel sprouts one lotus. And in the lotus is Brahma. And Brahma is what? He is the secondary creator. Like an engineer. Brahma is like an engineer. He is not the main creator. Like engineer give him steel, cement, sand, rocks, various things and make a nice building. But he needs to be given those materials like cement, steel, sand. Without materials, he can't create. No? So Brahma is that engineer who creates the universe with the materials supplied by the Lord. And that material is known as Mahatattva. I also have to read very deeply onto this subject, Mahatattva, Pradhana and all this. But you can understand the materials are supplied by the Lord. And Brahma is like the engineer who creates. And then from Brahma creates so many living entities. But he can create only the bodies. He can create the trees, the houses, like that. But the bodies are just dead bodies till there's life sparked into it. And the Lord, he puts his drishti on them and we get lives in that. And then the third expansion the Lord gets into each and every body, each and every soul. You understood up till now? First, the whole universe, various universes coming, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and then through him the creation of, within every universe there's so many living bodies, entities are created, and then the living entities will be dead. No, life comes from life only, isn't it? So dead matter cannot bring life. So the Lord, in his third expansion as Hiranyaksha Vishnu, enters as the super soul of Paramatma. And as long as he is there, we are alive. And the day Paramatma leaves, we are dead. So super soul is a very important subject. And today, actually this shloka and the shloka before that, these two slokas actually give quite a good information on the super soul. And the Bhagavad Gita 13th chapter, I will take those shlokas also, gives a very good understanding of the super soul. So today, take care, be attentive. This subject, if you know this subject, it will be quite interesting for you. And give me your blessings so that I can present it very scientifically, systematically, correctly, in an organized manner, so we can easily understand and apply and preach this knowledge to others, isn't it? We are all preachers, isn't it? So don't give the knowledge only to yourself. Keep it, learn it, meditate on it, get firm conviction on knowledge, because you just listen and you just tell, you won't tell it. But you have to also assimilate it and make sure that you know everything, because if there are any gaps in your information, you won't be able to tell that subject properly. So this is the idea. Anyway, the recordings will be there. If you miss something, you can always go back to the recording and have a look at that. So, a few shlokas before that, the Lord says, in the beginning of material creation, the Lord created the energies of cause and effect by his own internal energy. The Lord created the material creation he created the energies in the beginning of material creation. Creation is not like a Big Bang theory, one blast, and it just can't happen like that. We are at least that much God has given intelligence to know that the so-called material scientists telling there's a blast and a Big Bang theory and the world created is absolutely not correct. Nothing can be created out of air after explosion. Explosion can only destroy, it can't create. But unfortunately, the so-called scientists with big names and big degrees and getting Nobel Prizes and all that, who still only know the Big Bang Theory. They have no idea what creation is, how creation happened, how systematically one by one from the subtle to the gross to gross, the creation happened. And Bhagavatam gives so scientifically, so correctly, so accurately, so systematically all this knowledge. And once you start reading it, you just marvel at the beauty of the information and how correctly, systematically the information is there. You'll not find in the so-called science books. So that's how the Lord creates the various energies. And because Lord is Shaktiman, the Shakti can come from the Shaktiman. Shakti doesn't just come like that. If the light is burning, it is coming from the powerhouse. You put a bulb, and since this every single element, every single light or electrical product is directly connected by wires to the power to the plug, to the main substation, main block in the house, then from there to the substation connect to the powerhouse. That's how the power is coming. If anywhere the link is cut, no light. So similarly, the creation is a very systematic chain reaction of cause and effect. And then we have the beautiful creation with so much variety, so much life, so much in it, that even you look at one flower, just you to marvel at the creation of the Lord, you just take one flower, and look at it. The petals, the stem, the leaves, then the beauty and how it's systematically organized. And then you have to understand, it just can't happen like that. So God, Lord Vishnu in his expansion forms, is every moment telling us how the creation is so special, how it just can't be there. So we should question, why is it like that? Why? Then if you start why, then you'll get to the root. So if you say how the light is growing, there's a small child, you'll say, Papa, how the light is growing? पापा बोलेगा उस बल्ब है, उसमें तार है, उधर जाता है, उधर हाउस में पावर आता है, और पापा पूछे पापा ये पावर कहाँ से आता है? फिर वो पावर हाउस से आता है. So that question answer you have to have the knowledge. But outside the gamut of our scriptures, the questions, you have a question, you don't have an answer. So many people have so many questions, but they don't get an answer and they get frustrated and think, kuch nahi hai sab. But fortunately, very, very fortunately, I would say, not only fortunately, we have the Sanatana Dharma scriptures, we have the Bhagavad scriptures, and most fortunately, we had Srila Prabhupada, who had translated it so nicely, so systematically. It's not that knowledge Prabhupada created. The knowledge was there, but what the best thing Prabhupada did is he translated and made it so simple to understand that we are able to understand that. Only you have to read it. So that science which the big Nobel laureates and big people who do so big seminars don't have any knowledge is available so systematically, so easily here. Okay. So I will take one shloka before that also. Yeah. So there is one shloka just before that. We'll not go into great explanation of that, but it is good to know this shloka also. Yatha hi avagito vahani darushva ekasva yonisho naneva bhati vishwatma bhuteshu cha tatha puman. So what it says, now this background of information, because you have to learn is, the Lord as Super Soul pervades all things. Just as fire permeates wood, and he appears to be of many varieties, although he is absolute and without a second. So the Lord as Super Soul pervades all things. Now I would like to ask you a simple question. What is the meaning of the word Vishnu? Who can tell? Vishnu ka matlab kya hai? Vishnu has a meaning.
Anu actually means atom. So I think Vishnu means the one who is present in every atom.
Perfectly, you have correct, exact correct answer. विश्व के जो हर अणु में स्थित है वही विष्णु है. Vishnu is actually a sandhi of two words, Vishwa and Anu. So Vishnu means जो विश्व के हर अणु में जो है is Vishnu. So exactly, the Lord, that expansion of the word Vishnu is right some in front of us. Lord as super soul pervades all things. What is that? Lord is Vishnu, and as super soul, विश्व के हर अणु में जो every cell, every living entity is an anu, and all the living entities, not that any living entity is bereft of the super soul. Even a small ant, a small butterfly, a small any small to any Brahma, all have the super soul in them, and that's what he says, pervades all things, just as fire permeates wood. And so he appears to be of many varieties, and there are some varieties. Even though the super soul is same, but because of the bodies, because of the desires of various living entities, because of the various mixture of the three modes of material nature, the expansion is different. But the root, that super soul, is always there. And the Lord himself goes as a super soul to every living entity, and he pervades it and permeates it. Just as fire wood. So luckily if you burn wood, and wood is this fire. But after some time the fire is not seen, but the fire is inside. It is permeating, the whole wood is burning fire. Okay. Then another beautiful example is butter in the milk. Now if you look at milk, do you see butter? You don't see butter. You have churned the milk, but the butter is there. You don't see it. But if you churn the milk or go through a certain process, you can get the butter. But the butter was, it's not that your process created the butter. Your process only was extracting the butter out of milk. Whatever process, manthan karo, ya machine mein dalo, whatever. It is because the butter was always there. The butter element or the key element was always inside that milk. Like that, so the Vishnu is always there. So, the presence of Lord as Paramatma can be felt by the process of legitimate hearing and chanting on the transcendental subjects in Vedic literature. Prabhupada writes somewhere, the presence of the Lord as Paramatma can be felt by the process of legitimate hearing and chanting of the transcendental subjects in Vedic literature. So, to understand the Paramatma feature which is lying within you, it is within you, just like you can get the butter out of the milk by churning. Similarly, by oral reception, by very close deep meditation on the hearing and chanting of the transcendental subjects in Vedic literature, you can understand the Paramatma feature. Like what are the Vedic literatures here? Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ishvara, so many we have. So the knowledge is there, but it has to be got out by chanting, hearing these subjects. You just keep the book on the shelf and look at the book, you will not get it. You have to read it, you have to meditate on it, you have to read over and over, because our intelligence isn't that great. Prayanalpisabhya kalavasmin yogejana manda samanda madayo manda bhagyo patutana. So we are like that. But read it. Even for child, when you are small children in school, how much time you have learned? 2 1s are 2, 2 2s are 4, 2 3s are 6, 2 3 4s are... I don't know how many times I must have done this over and over just to get the simple mathematical table of cluster of 2. So like that, our scriptures, everybody is telling, read regularly, because little by little you will gain, and as you gain, then you're absorbing, your knowledge is coming to you, and you have better understanding of what you do. Because if you don't know what you're doing, you cannot do it for many days, because somewhere the intelligence says, hey, what am I doing? So you have to feed your intelligence with the correct knowledge, then intelligence will support you in this endeavor of spiritual life. So now the fire, the fire is there, maybe the fire is very weak. Like sometimes you see now, just like when you go on a picnic and you're burning and you're cooking the food with the wood fire, and then you find out the fire is getting slow, food is not cooking, then you put another fire on that. Or you can do one more thing, give air, and the fire will just burn more and more, and food will be cooked. Similarly, who can kindle that fire? is the spiritual master. The spiritual master can kindle the spiritual fire. Everybody has a spiritual fire. It's not that some have, some don't. So spiritual fire is there everywhere. But somewhere it is dormant, somewhere it is covered, somewhere it is not being manifested much, somewhere there's too much of extra covering. But the fire is there. But depending on how much covering here, you have to put more hava. So who can do this? The spiritual master or his representative can do that. So he will kindle the spiritual fire from the wood, like living entity, by imparting proper spiritual messages injected through the receptive ear. This is one of the shlokas translation. So you have a receptive ear. If your ear is not receptive, it does not work. So you have to have a receptive ear, and then this knowledge will come, and the spiritual master can work through that. If you close the ears, then the spiritual master also cannot work through you. So you have to give all reception and listen, and then work on that. So today we will take the shloka that we have. Okay. Aso gunamair bhaver. Aso gunamair bhaver. Bhuta sukshmendriyatmabhi. Swanirmiteshu nirvishto. Swanirmiteshu nirvishto. Bhunte bhuteshu tadgunan. So the word by word synonym. Asam, that Paramatma. Gunamayi, influenced by the modes of nature. Bhavai, naturally. Bhuta, created. Sukshma, subtle. Indriya, senses. Atmabhi, by the living entities. Swanirmiteshu, in his own creation. Nirvishtaha, entering. Bhunte, causes to enjoy. Bhuteshu, in the living entities. Tad gunan, those modes of nature. Translation. The super soul, you tell me after that, because the super soul enters into the bodies of the created beings who are influenced by the modes of material nature and causes them to enjoy the effects of these modes by the subtle mind. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. I'll read the purport, you just listen. There are 8,400,000 species of living beings, beginning from the highest intellectual being Brahma, down to the insignificant ant, and all of them are enjoying the material world, even the desires of the subtle mind and the gross body. It's a beautiful sentence. We are from Brahma to the small ant. We are how many species? 88.4 million species, or 84 lakh species of life are there, and they're doing everybody's doing the one same thing. What is that? Enjoy the material world. A small dog is going and running. A small insect, you'll see an ant running with a small bit of sugar in his head, trying to run, going to his house, put it in, and then live with the family. We are also driving our cars from Hope Farm to Beach Farm and all that, with no hope. And then, but what is the aim? Happy, enjoy the material world, isn't it? And two things, the body and the mind, both. Mind is telling, oh, let's go to this supermarket. and then body will work, go to the supermarket. So, and this is everybody is doing. Even the richest man in the world is also doing the same thing. And the poorest man is also doing the same thing. Okay, so this is very common. So Prabhupada, if you read Prabhupada purports, you have to open your eyes and come like a blast. He'll just, in very one simple sentence, said that everybody, all this 8.4 million species doing the same thing, enjoying the material world, according to the desires of the subtle mind and the gross material body. So like your body, gross material bodies means what kind of food you can eat, what kind of physical sex life you can have, what kind of movies you would like to see. All that is a combination of your physical body and the material mind. Both are working together. As your body gets more and more old, then some of the desires go away because body can't do any more of that. So, but at different ages, you can see how your body and mind both together are making a combination of what you will enjoy, what will not enjoy. The gross mental body is based on the conditions of the subtle mind and the sensor created according to desires of the living being. Okay, like this sentence, how to understand that? A fish. Fish likes to live in water, and the body is given like that. A tiger, it loves to eat flesh. Means that is his desire. That desire caused that body, and according to that, he is living his life. Okay. Fortunately, as human beings, we have the sense of discrimination. What we should do, what we should not do. And sometimes we also live like animals without any discrimination, what we should do and what we should not do. Okay. So we can see that the human life has all the possibilities to enjoy or to do tapasya or austerity. You can do both. Okay. So that's where, then they said the Lord as Paramatma helps the living being to get material happiness because living being is helpless in the respect of obtaining what it desires. Lord is sitting as a Paramatma and He helps the living being to get material happiness. Without the Lord, even material happiness will not be possible. Because the Lord is directing. Because the living being is helpless in all respects opening what it desires. Even if you desire, if the Paramatma doesn't allow us, help us, we cannot even obtain that desire also. So we are so helpless. And every line of Prabhupada is stamped as authentic. Your mind might say, no, is it like that? Take your own research and you'll find that every line is full, solid information. He proposes and the Lord disposes. We know that Lord God, man proposes, God disposes. Prabhupada wrote. In other sense, the living beings are parts and parcels of the Lord. Therefore, they are therefore one with the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, living entities in all varieties of body have been claimed by the Lord as His sons. Bhutoham sarva bhutanam. Pitaham. What is that? Pitaham asya jagata mata dhata pitamaha. So he is writing in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said everything actually for that. In Bhagavad Gita, the sufferings and enjoyments of the sons are indirectly the sufferings and enjoyments of the father. Our sufferings, Krishna is feeling very sad for us. Like a child, your children, if they suffer in school, in studies or outside world, the children might think, not suffer that much, the parents suffer even more than that. Because that's how it is. So Krishna also is sad that we are suffering. He doesn't want us to suffer. He wants us to be away from suffering. Because the nature of the soul is Sachidananda. Ananda Mirana Chutta. Still the father is not in any way affected directly by the sufferings and the enjoyment of his sons. Sometimes the father also becomes indifferent with the son. So son, मैं क्या कर सकता? ठीक है, वो अपनी जिंदगी जी रहा है, मैं अपना जिंदगी जीऊँ. But the father tries to bring his son to the right path. But sometimes you have seen in material world also, the son doesn't want to listen. He wants to go away from his father. Father feels sad, tries, but at one point, father says, "Fine, you your life, my life." Krishna also says this. So as long as we listen to him, but Krishna is even more tolerant than we as fathers. He's always there as Paramatma. Even when the son has gone to the when the living entity is totally away from Krishna, as Paramatma, he doesn't deserve. He doesn't leave that soul. He's still there. But he's known that soul is not listening to Paramatma anymore. But that doesn't mean the Lord has forsaken that soul. He's still there. So he is so kind that he constantly remains with the living entity as Paramatma. That Prabhupada writes that. He is so kind that he constantly remains with the living entity, living being as Paramatma. He doesn't desert that living entity. Even if the living entity is not wanting to listen to Paramatma or Krishna, he doesn't desert. He's still there. He's always there. He's always there. And always try to convert the living beings towards the real happiness. So in this, Prabhupada said many things. He has concentrated like a capsule given. And so, to try to understand that the individual soul is always wanting enjoyment. In individual soul, Anandamaya Bhyasa. There's the Vedanta Sutra. We as living entities are Anandamaya Bhyasa. That we are always searching for Ananda, happiness. Isn't it? It is true. Whether in spiritual life or in material life or in whatever life, that's our nature. We are Anandamaya Bhyasa. So the soul is searching for happiness, whichever way. Today you are here because you think there is happiness. Today some people may not find happiness here and live also. We see people come, go, no problem. So they did not find happiness, they did not find engagement, they did not like it, they live. But the intelligent ones who will initially tolerate that, because sometimes we make very quick judgment. No, you have a little perseverance is necessary. Because the higher something is, the more time it takes to understand it. So, but still this happens. People leave, people go, because they did not find happiness. Because our nature is to look for happiness. And Super Soul is making all the arrangement. Lord as Paramatma, we'll come to the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita and I'll explain how Lord is making all the arrangement. But Prabhupada said in this purport itself, that is Lord is making arrangements. And how is making arrangement? To the material creation. If you want to eat food, there's foods are there. So much is there. If you want to go on a ride, the vehicle is there. And the vehicle is made from material nature. So Krishna makes all the arrangements. That is to be understood that all this arrangement for creation is coming from the material nature. If you want to drive a car, all the elements of the car is coming from nature, no? Steel, petrol, everything is coming from nature. So the nature has made arrangements. The nature is wanting to keep, like a father, like for a child, he makes a nice bed for him, a nice house for him, and clothes for him. The father is making all the arrangements for the child. Similarly, Krishna is Paramatma sitting here, and so many expansion of Krishna is making all the arrangements for every living entity to enjoy, because that is his desire. He wants to enjoy, he wants to enjoy. Okay? But we do not understand the workings of nature. We don't understand why and normal science have to study how the rains are happening, how the food is growing, how the wind is blowing, how days and nights are happening. But we don't understand nature. We can't explain. How many people can explain how nature is working? Even those who have read science. I have read a lot of science. Hardly there's any information how nature is working. Very little information. But the scriptures explain very well. And who is behind this nature? Then if you ask some people, see, every Krishna is a source. Why is source? Nature is a source. But somebody has to be behind the nature. Na? Nature is like a machine. So no machine works without the operator. Can any machine work? Even how best the machine is, a computer. With a computer, we are doing so much connection, playing, and then only it's coming to the screen. So, Krishna says, Maya dakshina prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunani nakaltya jagat vi parivartate. See, with my instruction, the nature is working. Nature cannot work independently. Okay. We go to a mechanic. Okay, we take the car to a mechanic, and we are also saying the same thing. Mechanic is also saying the same thing, but he can see where the fault is because he's trained. So a training is there. No, even for the material world. So spiritual life also needs a training. How to understand spirituality. Okay, so this is very important. Because spirituality, as Prabhupada very nicely explained, is science. When science means, what is science? Science means you observe something, you can create a hypothesis and experiment and prove that hypothesis. And we can do that. Like there's a beautiful one example of Einstein. Sorry, this story is about Newton. Newton had made Newton has a very nice solar model. Means there's the sun at the center, there's the 9 planets going around the sun, and and nicely you say, like, he'll start the model and then they will go around, and then. So he had one friend who was not believing in God and all this. He did not believe that God created universe and all that, like all scientists, most scientists. But it's not that all scientists are not non-believers of God. There are Einstein, Newton, there are quite a few scientists who are very strong believers of the God. And so this friend of Newton, who did not believe in God, Newton invited one day to his house, come and see, I've made a nice model. So Newton started the model, and sun and all the planets going around that. So this friend did not believe in God and all that. So then this friend asked Newton, who made this? Understood the question? This atheistic friend is asking Newton, who made this model? That nice model is happening, going around systematically. Well, no, nobody made it, just happened like that. Oh, no. Who made this? Who made this model? No, it's just Newton said, nobody made it just came like that. No. His friend is telling, tell me who made this model. Oh, Baba bola na ki main koi nahi, maine apne aap banaya hai model. It just came like that. Then friend said, how it is possible? Somebody must have made this, otherwise it can't happen like this. Then Newton said, this small model, you want a creator. Who is the creator? Then how can you think that the whole world is created without anybody? So if you as a scientist, you are wanting to know the creator of this small model, and you don't believe in the creator of this whole universe, how is it? So our is that every creation has a creator. And Newton proved to his friend that behind this creation is the creator. Because you want to know who created this small model. And without an answer who created the model, you are not very satisfied. I'm telling you it's just created like that, and you don't believe me. Then how as a scientist you believe that this creation was done without any creator? So we have to understand the creation. But creator is not so easily seen. But he is behind that nature. Maya dakshane prakriti suyate sacharacharam. I am behind this nature, but you will not see me unless you are qualified to see me. And we have to understand how the different energies are working. That's why he says, Bijuham Sarva Bhutanam. I am the seed-giving father of every bhutas, every living entity. Every living entity is a seed has come from me. The roots, the trunk. Once the seed is there, then the material nature will start working. You see, look, let's see how much examples we have day-to-day life. You get a seed, you put it in the soil, put water, then nature will take care of it. Then you have to make the arrangement for the water, air, etc., fertilizers, but you don't need to be there anymore. The nature will take care. If you have given all the supplies to the nature, the tree will grow and get fruits and all that thing. So that's how the world is working. So the world is working Gyan, Bala and Kriya. The knowledge, the strength and the workings of the nature. So the Ishwara has a beautiful shloka. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. What it says, from the Purnas are coming. From the complete whole, another complete whole is coming. From that, another complete whole is coming. But with a spiritual expansion, one complete whole doesn't lose. It is still there, but another complete whole has come. Like that. So that's Ishwara says that, first invocation says this sloka, that from the complete whole, complete universes are coming. And further complete universes are coming. That's it. Ishavasamidam sarvam yat kinchat jagatyam jagat Yaina Tyaktina Punjita Ma Krida Kasya Siddhanam Om Purnamada. Then Isha Vasya. So whatever you are saying, Purnamidam, Isha Vasya Vidam Sarvan, Yat Kincha Jagatyam Jagat. Whatever you are saying in the material world, Tena Taktena Punjita Ma Krida Kasya Siddhanam. So you have a certain quota to take and don't take the other's quota. Because that's the way the material nature is been. So if you are given food, you eat your food, but don't encroach on others. This is the issue he is telling. How the Lord's creation is beautiful. See, in today's world, God has created enough for everybody. But why is there shortcoming? Because some are overtaking. Some are, supposing you need 5 kg, you take 50 kgs of rice. But in the animal world, there's nothing like that. We hold, and that's the problem. That's where the problem is. So, but at the same time, if you are taking more than your quota, you are a thief. You are cause of the societal problems. So Krishna is telling every time, just ma krida kasha siddhanam. Just take as much as you quota. Then so in this shloka also this came out very clearly. The enjoyment is the enjoyment of the mind only. It's not that we are really enjoying. Because mind will one time accept and reject. है ना? संकल्प विकल्प. अभी मन करेगा कि चलो मूवी चलते हैं. मूवी गया तो मैं क्या मूवी देखा, पैसा खर्चा किया, इतना सर दर्द हो गया देखकर. What I saw in that movie, विकल्प हो गया फिर. Then it will not like. Again, 2-3 years when it next go another movie now. Maybe this movie is better. So it will constantly do. It will say do something, do it. So it is not enjoyment. It is just flip flop. Flip flop means from this to that, this to that, this to that, and like that. If you didn't get the spiritual line, you would have done the flip flop throughout your life. And manoranjan mein hum log will get stuck in the world of manoranjan, and that's what the general world wants you. Because as long as you are attracted to these kind of what so-called enjoyment, they will take your money, they will take your labor, they will take your life, they will take your every hour of your time, and you are hoping, because this is the Maya's game. Maya is playing with because unless you get that lollipop of pleasure or lollipop, you will not work. The lollipop is there, but as you walk, it goes away. It's like the Kuror call. Bengal is called Kuror call. There is like a stick attached to the donkey, and they put a nice carrot, and the donkey goes, and the carrot also goes like that. You can never eat the carrot. So that's the Maya's game, to keep you constantly in this world with enjoyment, and this enjoyment, hopes of enjoyment is. So because Prabhupada and the scriptures nicely explain that there isn't any enjoyment except it's a game of the mind. Mind might suddenly change, and what was enjoyable to the mind suddenly didn't become enjoyable to the mind. So that's not enjoyment. Real enjoyment is when you're beyond the 5 senses and the 3 subtle elements. Come, mano, bhumi apun alavayo, come buddhi ahankar. When you go beyond this, then the real enjoyment happens. When you connect to Krishna, that is the time when the real enjoyment happens. So, how to get to that stage? You have to connect with bhakti. There's one nice example that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati used to give, and Prabhupada quotes many times, that if you are given a bottle of honey, and you're told that you can't open this bottle, you have to lick the bottle from the outside, will there be an enjoyment? No. So, we have to open that bottle and then eat the real honey, then the enjoyment will happen. But the bottle you don't know how to open the bottle. So, how will you have enjoyment? So we have to, that bhakti is that process by which you open that bottle of honey, instead of licking outside, now you're creating the real taste of honey. So that is why Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Raska Sindhu hai. And we have to understand, but for normal process, we have to take the cleansing process, the bhakti process. So basically what are you doing? We are doing Vaidhi Bhakti. No, what are you doing? Sola Mala Jap, Subhe Utna, following the 4 elemental principles. This is not very pleasant to us. But what to do? We have fallen into that wrong direction. So need a little bit of cleaning, little bit of regimentalization, little bit of regulation. So that because normally we are not attracted to Krishna. That's our fault, that's our problem. But still we have a solution. We have a solution. That's the hope that we have. That we have fallen into a rut. We have fallen into the desire to enjoy the material senses, which is not giving us happiness. What to do? So, bhakti comes. So, we start the Vaidhi bhakti. We force us to get up. We force us to chant. We force us to follow. We force us not to go to movie. We force ourselves not to waste our time on prajalpa. But still we are a little bit attached. But okay, we are improving. Our attraction to the Krishna, the holy name, to the devotees, to the devotional life is increasing. But it will not happen just like that. So as you do the Vaidhi bhakti, we have to do it. Because unless you have matured to a level of the next level, do not leave Vaidhi bhakti. Then you are neither here nor there. But at the same time, you have to come to the level of Raganuga bhakti, when our bhakti is spontaneous. When we look at a devotee, I feel happy. When we look at we want to chant the holy name, we want to associate devotees, when it's very natural. But the process, we have to go through that process. The process of Vaidhi bhakti comes us to the level of Raganuga bhakti. Raganuga bhakti means you are automatically connected. You are not to force. You are not to be pushed. Because you are so much attached to the holy name that you just love to chant. But that doesn't mean that it will be happening just like that. You have to try. And that's why Krishna tells Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, Traigunya Vishya Bhedam, Nishtay Gunya Bhava Arjuna. He says, Traigunya Vishya Bhedam, Veda. The Vedas, basically the knowledge. Vedas is not one book. Vedas means all the knowledge, all the everything that we know as knowledge is combined as Vedas. And what is that? Traigunya Vishya Bhedam. The Vedas are talking of three modes of material nature. Traigunya means three guno ka hai Veds. That Satogun, Rajagun, Tamogun. Mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. So all the Vedas is talking of these three modes. Nishtay Gunya Bhava Arjuna. Hey Arjuna, come beyond these modes of material nature. Because you are affected by your uncles, your grandfathers, your brothers, your cousins who die in this world. Not very important. You come beyond this. You come beyond this. Then the real thing is coming to see. So Krishna is telling us through Arjuna, okay, then we have to come beyond the three modes of material nature. Because normally we are all bound by the three modes of material nature. Okay? So that's way how we can come from the spiritual platform, come to the spiritual platform from the material platform. Because generally we are in the material platform. So you have to tell ourselves, okay, I am still too much bound to the material modes, but let me try, let me effort, let me do my best so that I don't fall into this trap. Because this is a Maya's trap. I have to come out of this Maya's trap by various means of bhakti. And they are available today. It's not that something is beyond your capability. It's not that we have to put a head down and leg up, or you have to go to the Himalayas, or you have to leave a family, or you don't have to care for your children. No, nothing is like that. You do whatever your regular routine duty, and you should do. Because Bhagavad Gita tells Krishna tells Arjuna to do your duty, don't run away. Because what is Arjuna's condition? He wants to run away. He doesn't want to kill his uncles, and because war means killing. War doesn't mean by, oh my uncle, how are you? We are very nice, we come together. No, war means killing will happen here. It's very dangerous business. It's a very tough business. And that too, we have to kill somebody who's as respectable as Bhishma Dev, Guru Dronacharya. But Krishna says, yes, still at the mode, this kind of thoughts, this kind of thinking, this kind of attachment, is at the three modes of material nature. Come out of this, beyond this. Because Sarvaya Matha Param. Everybody is eternal. He will die, he will again be born, and again life will come. Again, why attach to this one flickering body? Come beyond this. Come beyond this. So, we also have to, we are struggling. Why not? Are we not struggling? In our spiritual life, we are struggling. With our senses, with our desires, with our so many attachments. We are suffering like anything. So, to come to, but there is a way out. Give beyond three modes of material nature. And if not the 24 hours, at least 2, 3, 4 hours, whatever is possible, let us be that. Because even that is also helping, no? Because Krishna says, whatever little you do this life, is spiritual direction, that is a permanent bank balance. Even if you did not complete, it remains. But your bank balance of millions of dollars will finish at death. But your bhakti, whatever, if you did 10% of bhakti, or you did 10% of your activities required to go back to Godhead, that 10% will be there, you start at 11% in your next life. So it's a permanent balance. Because Krishna is telling, don't believe me, I'm just trying to put the words of Krishna. So we have to understand this, and accordingly live our lives. So I will take some of the nice shlokas of Bhagavad Gita for the 13th chapter. Okay. Also, one more thing. There's one nice shloka I'll tell you before that, 1322. Or we'll come it when it comes. Okay, fine. Okay. So, beautifully, Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, you can always relate the shlokas. No, sometimes, see, the super soul information wasn't that much detailed here in this Srimad Bhagavatam, only 2 shlokas. But there's more detail in Bhagavad Gita. And the 13th chapter gives. Like, if you want to understand our soul, tell me which are the place you should go. Somebody want to know, what is the soul? Tell me, I would request somebody to answer. 2nd chapter, good. Which book? Huh? Yes, you're confident. 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita gives explanation of the soul. Maybe there is some explanation of soul in Bhagavatam, but I don't know exactly where it is. It will be there. Definitely, Bhagavatam has one knowledge. But 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, but tell me which shlokas. You can't tell. The 2nd chapter is also very big, 72 shlokas. Which shlokas of Bhagavad Gita in 2nd chapter talk about basically only the soul, Atma. Yes, what is the slok number? 13. So you're correct, from about 11 to 30. The sloka before that is Sarve Mata Param. Natu Jatam, Natu Nasham, Natam Neme Janadipa, Na Jaivana Bhavishama, Sarve Mata Param. That's the 12th sloka. 13th was the universal Kathade. And from the 11th to the 30th, all the beautiful shlokas of the soul is there. If whatever you need to know about soul is rightly there. But the super soul, and another thing, lot of confusion, soul or super soul, Atma, Paramatma, are the same. Today I was coming in the taxi, and this taxi was relatively very spiritual, religious, and he liked our dress. I said, "Kahan ja rahe ho? Mandir ja rahe hain?" "Haan, mandir ja rahe hain." "Main bhi jata hu." So maine bola. Then he was talking a little bit on this subject. So I said, "Today I'm going to speak on the super soul." Then he said, "No, Atma, Paramatma." "Paramatma to Atma ke andar hai." He told me that. But at least it was wrong information. Atma and Paramatma are actually independent entities. But he's not. But at least he knew that thing, there is this Atma and Paramatma. And it was talking for some time. So he said that the Paramatma is inside the Atma. So, but that's not so much so. So this is to understand that the super soul and Atma ka kya relationship hai. So I was telling that Atma ka information is 211 to 230 Bhagavad Gita. But Bhagavad and super soul information is in 13th chapter. From around 13 chapter ke middle se till next 10-15 shlokas. There's good information on what the super soul is. So he said, Sarvata Pani Padam Tat Sarvato Shiro Mukham Sarvata Shrutima Loke Sarva Avrita Tishtati. Everywhere are his hands and legs, his eyes, heads and faces, and he has ears everywhere. In this way, the super soul exists pervading everything. So विष्णु, विश्व के हर अणु में जो विष्णु है, विष्णु कहते हैं. So super soul is in one form Vishnu, Shirodakshai Vishnu. He is pervading everything. There is nothing that is beyond Vishnu. He said here. उसके आँख भी है, उसके हाथ भी है, पैर भी है, वो सब कुछ देख सकता है. And is in everything. So I'll take the next sloka. सर्वेन्द्रिय गुणाभाषम सर्वेन्द्रिय विवर्जितम असक्तम सर्ववृक्षैव निर्गुणम गुणा भोक्तृच्च. The super soul is the original source of all senses. Yet he is without senses. He is unattached, although he is the maintainer of all living beings. He transcends the modes of nature and at the same time is the master of all the modes of material nature. Super soul. You can read the purport. Prabhupada gives very nice purport. That says, Bahirantascha bhutanam achanam chanam evacha shukshmat vattat avikeyam durastam chantike chatat. The supreme truth exists outside and inside all living beings, the moving and the non-moving, because he is subtle. He is beyond the power of the material senses to see or know. Although far, far away, he is near to all. We don't know it, but Super Soul is sitting here as Paramatma. Avivaktam cha bhuteshu vivaktam iva cha sthitam bhuta bhatri cha te tajyam grashishnu pravavishnu cha. Although Super Soul appears to be divided among all beings, he is never divided. He is situated as one. All this mental of every living entity is understood that devours and develops all. This is all the explanation of the Super Soul. Are you understanding? I'm saying it's difficult to understand, but these are the qualities of the Super Soul. Atma, 211 to 230, you can see not born, not his living entities के अंदर है. It's just you. But साथ में भगवान तुम्हारे साथ भी बैठे हैं Super Soul के हिसाब से, like the Super Soul. And these are his qualities. We are giving us reading from the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is telling this knowledge to Arjuna. Jyotisam api tat jyotish tamasa param uchyate jnanam geyam jnanagamyam hridi sarvasya vishtitam. He is the source of light on all luminous objects. He is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. He is knowledge. He is the object of knowledge. He is the goal of knowledge. He is inside everyone's heart. Who? Super Soul. So Atma, Paramatma, dono physically are located inside the same heart. Okay. Then I will move to 1323. There are a lot of them, but I will take the main basic ones. This is a very important shloka for the. You want to quote for Super Soul, this is the shloka you should take. 13.23 of Bhagavad Gita. Like you said, he rightly quoted the shloka, Devanas Vedade. Tell what the soul is. If you go by one shloka, that's the shloka. But if you tell what a Super Soul is, this is the shloka, 13.23 of Bhagavad Gita. Upadashtanumantacha bharta bhokta maheshwara parmatmeti chapi ukto dehe asmin purusha paraha. Beautiful. And Prabhupada is so nicely telling. Yet in this body, there is another transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer and the permitter, who is known as the Super Soul. Upadashta anumantacha. Upadashta means who is seeing. You see, there's a nice example from scriptures to understand the soul and Super Soul. It's like two birds sitting on a branch. One soul, one bird is the soul. Means what the soul doing? It is eating this fruit, that fruit. Sometimes happy, sometimes morose, sometimes sad. So that's the Super Soul. That's all. That's the Atma. The bird which is eating various fruits and suffering and enjoying whatever. And the next side is the other bird. This other bird is the Paramatma. And he's seeing this other bird. He's sometimes happy because of attachment to the material world. And the super soul is constantly looking at this bird. When will he look at me? When will he look at me? So the day he looks at me, his sufferings will go. So the day we look at the soul, think of super soul inside us, then we attract to the super soul. And that's what the yogis are doing as Parma. They are all meditating on the super soul, isn't it? What is the yogis doing? The real yogis. I'm not talking a lot of yogis, babas, and people with those names also. So the yogis are constantly meditating on the super soul. They have started this bird, which is the Atma, is now looking at the super soul, and that's how they are engaged. That's how they are enjoying. So Upadasha Hanumantacha Bhokta Bharta Maheshwara. Bhokta Bharta means master. The super soul is a master. The super soul is actually the master of the soul, sitting there like a little boss, but uninterfering boss. Bharta Bhokta. The super soul is the enjoyer, and Maheshwara, the real Lord. Paramatmeti, the super soul. Chapyukto. It is said, and they asmin Purushapara, and is staying in the same body. So they are not one inside the other. They are two different entities. The nice story I will say very quickly. Once Hanuman, we have time till some time. So I'll very quickly finish now. But this has to understand the beauty of the understanding of what these are. So you remember when Ramchandra was building the pool to go to Lanka. So the Hanuman and big banners, big boulders and putting in the water, and the bridge was being made. There was one small squirrel. What the squirrel was doing? Bringing small stones and putting there. And Hanuman, normally Hanuman is Lord's very close devotee and associate. But sometimes Lord, to give us a nice example, got Hanuman to be a little puffed up. Like, kya is squirrel, this small Gilhari, what is doing small stones? We are the ones who are building the bridge. And because what the small stones will do in making the bridge to Lanka. The Hanuman had that kind of thought, looking at the squirrel and getting a little puffed up for his own efforts. So, but Lord Ramchandra, being the super soul, he understood that Hanuman has got a little puffed up. So he told Hanuman, come here. Hanuman didn't say anybody, just the thought, just that feeling, just that, like we get so many feelings, Hanuman got that thought. Ramchandra said, Hanuman, come. And Hanuman, yes, Maharaj, yes, Prabhu. Say, Hanuman, do you know why I'm building this bridge? Yes, Guru Maharaj, yes, Ramchandra ji. You're building this bridge to go to Lanka. Otherwise, how will you go to Lanka? Is the water? You have to go on go over the bridge. We need to have the bridge. Then only we can go to Lanka. Then he tells Hanuman, do I really need to make this bridge? Did you see that sometime back when I pulled my arrow at the sea said, I'll give the way to go to Lanka. You know, there's a small pastime. Before Ramchandra makes this bridge, he is so upset with the Samudra, that he pulls his barn and just about to try hit an arrow to the sea, and the Devta of the sea comes up. Varundev, I think, yeah. And he prays and says, Ramchandra, I'll give you the way to go to Lanka. See, you saw that. You know that. If I really wanted to go to Lanka, the sea was going to give me way. I would have just walked it. So yeah, that's why I could. So obviously I don't want to build the bridge. I could have gone because the sea cannot stop me from going. I could have just gone. So you saw that happen. Oh yeah, right. Yes, Prabhuji, you're right. Yeah, you don't need to build this bridge for that reason. Then why? No, I think you want to kill Ravan with a full army to go there and kill. But Hanuman, do I really need to do that? You know that as a super soul, I live in everybody's life, everybody's heart, and once I want to leave that heart, the body will die anyway. Understood the point? That I don't need to kill Ravana, because I don't take an army of so many Hanumans and so many soldiers. I don't need to do. I exist as super soul in every living entity, and if I decide to quit that living entity, that living will die straight away there. I don't need to kill them. Yes, Prabhuji, you don't need to kill Ravan. So why are you then, he asked Prabhu Ramchandra, why are you building this bridge then? Well, say, I am giving every living entity an opportunity to serve me. This is a service I am giving everybody. So your service of putting the big boulders is as important as the small squirrels putting small stones. So that's the purpose what he is doing. So this way that Krishna is as super soul allowing us to do the various services. So much is there. This is a very big topic. You can take from this subject, so much is there, super soul, how it works, the work. Krishna is writing everything in the books. So I will, I think we'll get enough time. Other shlokas you can see, but this was a very important shloka, super soul. And I hope I gave some good information on the super soul. And yes, Prabhuji,
actually I had a couple of questions, but I'll ask the most pressing one in the interest of time.
can you put the fan?
So we spoke about material enjoyment and how we entitle ourselves to the material world. Prabhuji, but sometimes even when we don't want to do something, circumstances push us to do it. And like for example, on a very rudimentary level, if I have to go to office, I have to go to a mall and buy clothes for myself. But on the surface, it might appear to be a very materialistic activity that I'm doing. Prabhuji, sometimes there is, if I'm practicing devotional service, it might come across as me being insincere or sort of a judgment from outside. But at the same time, since we talk so much about indulging and not indulging, there is also an internal guilt that comes, which I feel interferes in our spiritual life as well. And Prabhuji, for the same reason, I feel there are certain aspects of our material life that we also keep private and not share with other devotees because we fear that kind of judgment. So how to come in terms with all of this so that our spiritual life doesn't get disturbed because of the circumstantial activities that we have to carry out in our material life?
Yeah, it's a good question, and everybody probably has to answer this question internally or externally. Yeah, so basically, if you're going to the mall to buy some clothes that's necessary to buy for wearing to office at home, it's not sense enjoyment at all. It is going for buying necessities. Buying necessities is not spare enjoyment. It is not sense enjoyment. But if you spend hours and hours in the mall from this to that and neglect other things, then it could be. But you're going for a purpose. We all go. Who doesn't go to the mall? But we go for a purpose. We go for buying necessary things. We don't overindulge. We do buy things. We buy clothes for the children, for gifts, friends, etc. We do that. But the conscious is not of enjoyment. When most important thing is, that's why it's called Indian Society of Krishna consciousness. Not Krishna. Your activity may be looking material like any other thing, but if the consciousness is towards a spiritual life, then it's an acceptable activity. As long as you don't overindulge.
One more question on the same aspect. So let's say if we are supposed to remain equal in all circumstances, but let's say for an example, I don't like going in the sun. I would prefer to be in shade if I'm outside. So I'm not being equal to the Lord's creation in all circumstances. So how do we look at that?
The Lord doesn't tell you to be in the sun all the time. Where does He tell that? He tells them, hey, you to be. It's not that.
But I'm choosing my material comfort. Right?
No, that's okay. In fact, you overexposure to sun could harm your body, and everybody's body is slightly different also. No? If you find your body cannot take the sun too much, don't go there. It's okay. Somebody can stay in the sun 2 hours, somebody can stay 1 hour, but somebody can stay in the sun for long time. You'll feel sick. So that bodily part is different. Okay. So it's not that there's anything wrong. If you feel that sun is burning more than somebody else, and you prefer to be in the shade, it's okay. No, it's nothing wrong. So okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Prabhu, the concept that we learned today, super soul is already there. Like how you said, 2 birds are there. Right? So since super soul is already there, super soul always does good, right? It will never. So
Super soul is upadasha anumantacha. You have to understand, super soul is not forcing the soul to do a certain thing. Soul is doing. Soul is a doer. But the super soul is Upadashta, that's why the last sloka I took, Upadashta Anumantaja Bhokta Bharta Maheshwara. He is not the doer. Doer is the soul. You are doing. But super soul is Upadashta, is seeing. Anumanta, it is sanctioning. You want to go and eat some rubbish thing, it will not stop you. But he will tell you, don't do that. See, sometimes when you do something wrong, doesn't the conscience prick you? The conscience is actually expansion of the super soul only. It's a voice of the super soul. Don't do this, don't do this. Please don't do this, it will tell. But you overlook that. It doesn't force you there. It's like a guide. But it's not the doer. Doer is the individual soul. And the super soul, good point you brought it because I probably didn't cover. Super soul is not the doer. It's Upadashta, Anumanta, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwara. All these five. There's no doer in these 5 words. But individual soul is the doer. It wants to do this. I will go, like the murderer. Even the murderer to the super soul says, don't do this. But then I have to do this. For whatever reason he gives himself. But the super soul doesn't tell go. But it is still allowing it to do.
But why is it still allowing that?
Because independence. If you didn't have independence, no bhakti, no love. If I tell you you're forced to love your husband, you have to love your husband, beat you if you don't love. Will there be any love? No. So love can only be there if I am allowed to not to love him. Only then you will love. If I say, no, you have to love him, then there will be no love. But I say, yeah, if you can choose to love or not to love, then whatever, if you love, then that's love. So super soul never, Krishna never interferes in your freedom because the free will is always there. If there's no free will, there's no bhakti, there's no love, then there's nothing. Then it becomes army mein. Hey, bhagna padega, idhar daughta padega. So it's not that. Freedom is there. So I was told I will very quickly in 5-10 minutes will have Kumbh Mela because I was told to this. And by the time, Prabhu, can you come here? Prabhu, this is the water we got from the Kumbh Mela on the 8th of February, the last Ekadasi. So I would request you to use about 1/3 of this water. 2/3 you return it back to me. But sprinkle little on everybody's head. Huh? Sure. This is the water from the Kumbh Mela. So I was specially instructed to, so now I'm going to give to class. So Kumbh Mela, which is very popular and many people have gone or are trying to go, is a very important event. So let the water sprinkling happen. Yes, everyone should get at least 1 drop of water. It said that even if you did not go, you got this water drop, you have practically got the benefit of Kumbh. Actually, you already got this Kumbh Mela water, those who came on the Nityananda Trayodasi. I brought another bottle, and that was done, we did Abhishek with that, and that has gone into your system body through the Charnamrita. So you got, so this is the second quota, second opportunity you got Kumbh water. So, yeah, everybody got the water, 1 drop at least. Either the backside people did not get. Maybe the children you can also give. So there's nice pastime of this Kumbh Mela. You know the Samudra Manthan? The Samudra was churned to bring the Amrit. And who was churning? Rakshas? Devtas. And what was the churning rod? Churning rod. You have to feel physically how you churn. Mandara. Yeah, then there's, so what happened? Sabko mil gaya na? Thank you. So when the one time the Devtas became very weak, there's a big story, we don't have time. So when the Devtas became very weak, then they went to Krishna, and Krishna says, you are weak at this time, so you have to gain strength. So how to gain strength? You have to get the Amrita. And how the Amrita we got? It's Amrita by churning the ocean. So he said, okay, you make a truce with the Asuras. So sometimes it's wise to sometimes don't fight with the Asura all the time. Make truce when the right time is there. So Krishna also tells a lot of diplomats in politics also. We have to learn those also. So he says, make truce with the Asuras and involve both of you, because all alone you probably will not be able to do. So you take the help of Asuras and you what you do? You go to the ocean and churn the ocean, and during the churning, the Mandara mountain was used as a churning rod, because you have to have a rod and then rotate it. So you put, who was the rope? Vasuki. Vasuki was the rope. So one side you hold, and one side the Devtas will hold, and one side the Asuras will hold, and you churn. So what happened? Initially, the Asuras were given the rear part, you hold the back part, and the Devtas were holding the front part. The Asuras said, oh, why should we hold the rear part? We want more importance, we'll hold the front part. Okay? So the Devas Krishna said, okay, fine, you let the Devtas go to the back or tail part of the Vasuki, and the Asuras hold the front part. But then when they started churning, because it was huge energy was required now for churning, and then Vasuki was spraying poison. And stupid, these Asuras had to inhale those poisons, getting weaker and weaker. And then after some time, the whole the churning rod, Mandara mountain, was settling down, because the earth was weak. The earth was settling down. So Krishna came as his first avatar in this Leela as Kurma avatar. So Krishna came underneath that churning rod, which is the Mandara mountain, and he was supporting that churning rod, the Mandara mountain. And then it was like Krishna ko leg is like scratching on the back. Krishna. So the first avatar of this Leela is 3 avatars of Krishna. So first avatar is the Kurma avatar, and on which the churning was happening. Then as it churned, then a lot of things came. Lakshmi Devi came, Ucheshwara the horse came, Airavata came, Ucheshwara the horse, Airavata the hathi came. So many things came. Then wish came, Halala wish came. Who took the wish?
Shiva.
Lord Shiva. And then why Lord Shiva Nilakantha? Because he drank the visha and he kept it only in his neck. He did not let it go inside, and the neck became blue because of the wish. Then after finally what came? The Amrita came. And who came with the Amrita pot? Dhanvantari. That's why in the Ayurveda, who is the Lord of Ayurveda? Dhanvantari. Dhanvantari is the second incarnation of the Lord, who comes with the pot of the Amrita. And when he comes with the pot of Amrita, then the demons and the Devtas are pushing each other to get the pot, get the pot. And there is a lot of fighting between the demons and the Devtas, and bunch of the pot was taken by son of Indra somewhere and brought. So during this process, when they're fighting, and the Kumbha, it's called a Kumbha, because the pot was brought in. Kumbha means a pot. The nectar was brought in a pot by Dhanvantari from the ocean, and they're fighting, and in this fighting, some drops of that Amrita fell at 4 places. So one place, the most important place is Prayagraj, where we have this Kumbh Mela. Other place is Ujjaina, correct. Haridwar, another Nasik. These 4 places, that one drop of this Amrit fell. And that's why these places are supposed to have that special significance, and that's why the Kumbh Mela is happening every 12 years, and Earth Kumbh happens every 6 years. So 2025 is the Kumbh Mela, so 2031 will be Earth Kumbh, and 2037 again next Kumbh will happen. So that's a single Kumbh Mela. They said that during this